What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, Wealth Hacker Labs. I'm your gracious host, Jeff Rose. And if there's one word that you all don't like, it is the word vacation. Nobody likes the word vacation, especially when we're referring to members of Congress, because right now it is Memorial Day week. Last weekend was Memorial Day weekend, but right now Congress is not meeting, and we've got the HEROES Act on the table. Already been approved, the House of Representatives. Now we're just waiting on the Senate to review and for them to vote, which obviously I think we know that they're not going to approve of it, but they still have to vote on it. And then from there, deliberations begin. But in yesterday's video where I was talking about this get back to work or back to work incentive bonus that Senator Rob Portman has proposed, just giving an incentive for people to get back to work so that they won't just sit at home and collect unemployment checks. But when I mentioned that Congress was on vacation last week, man, that did not go over very well, which understandably so, because many of you still have not received your first economic stimulus check. You're still waiting on your $1,200 CARES Act check or your prepaid debit card, whichever one that you qualified for. In today's video, I want to take a look at a little bit more on what's on the table with the HEROES Act, what we're waiting on, and also let's take a look at this get back to work incentive bonus and just see what validity, what's the actual chances of this thing passing. I know there are still a lot of concerns, a lot of questions, because in its current form, yes, there is some merit to it, but there's also a lot of uncertainty and a lot of things that just don't make sense. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're talking about here. So for those that aren't aware, you have this thing. This was presented by Rob Portman, and this is basically this incentive. Can't you see my screen? There it is. All right, there. Now you can see. So basically what this is Congress recognizes, the government recognizes that if we extend unemployment benefits for another 6 months, 12 months, whatever that number is, that many people will not want to go back to work because they can collect their $600 per week on unemployment, $2,400 a month. It's like, man, if I could just do that as opposed to going to work, that is a legitimate concern. So one way that one proposal in trying to get people to get back to work is this, I don't even know the official name, but basically they're just referring it to a get back to work bonus. And basically how this works is that if you go back to work and you are getting your normal wage, you then would get this $450 bonus, extra payment on top of your normal wage. So it's like, all right, well, you could stay at home, collect your $2,400 a month, or you could go back to work, get paid, what you normally get paid, and get an additional $450 per week on top of that. So we're talking a potential, $1,800 on top of your normal wage. That's some real incentive of getting people back to work. Now, of all the different proposals out there, like this is the one that it seems like that the White House is actually taking a look at, the Trump administration. Larry Kudlow went on I won't say on record, but he did say like this is something that they would consider, because their biggest concern with the HEROES Act right now is that the amount that is being allocated towards future unemployment benefits is just too much. Right now, the HEROES Act right now, we're talking over $3 trillion. And so that is just a huge portion for unemployment to be extended, because right now unemployment is to end at the end of July 31st. And with the HEROES Act, they're extending that until the end of January. So what I want to do right now is just take a look at, let's look at the HEROES Act, and let's also look at this get back to work bonus, this incentive bonus, and see what merit it has. So right now, what we're working with, we've got the HEROES Act. And I know that many of you that saw a previous video where you saw my penmanship, my handwriting, yes, that is why I type a lot, because you cannot read my writing. All right, so we got the HEROES Act. And the way that this is worked out, it's $1,200, and this is per individual. And that also includes up to 3 dependents with $1,200 each. So that is the HEROES Act. So that's what we have going on there. This is very, very similar to the CARES Act that's already passed, that you are still either have received your check or you're waiting to get your check or your prepaid debit card. So right now, I know there are so many comments, so many people saying that this is not going to pass. Yes, in its current form, it's not going to pass, but many of you also believe that a second HEROES Act, a second stimulus bill is not going to pass at all. Even if they make changes, even if they make updates, it's not going to pass. And I'm just, call me the optimist. I do believe that we will see something. I do believe that the HEROES Act will pass in some way, somehow. But I get it. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of just uncertainty. So I could see why you wouldn't think that. But I still feel like, we've got we'll just say 80% chance or greater of this HEROES Act passing. So that, I think, is good. Obviously, they're going to work on the unemployment. That's going to be a big change. And there's also just some of the wages that are allocated towards state and local government. So those are some of the big changes. So then you've got this get back to work. I don't know if any of you out there are Beatles fans. I used to love I still love the Beatles. Get back. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be singing. Sorry, might have got some dislikes on this video for trying to sing the Beatles. As you can tell, that's why I'm a YouTuber and not a performer. I cannot sing, not even in the shower. You don't want to hear it. All right, so you got the get back to work bonus. Now, how this thing works is you've got $450 weekly. And this will, I think right now in its current, how it's being proposed is that this would go until July 31st of this year, 2020. So yes, that's a decent incentive, but that's still not certain. This whole $400 per week is just, that's part of the proposal. As far as the timeline goes, how long this goes, that was initially what was proposed, but what is the actual dates? Is it July? Is it August? Is it the end of the year? And also too, we've got so many questions that we have with this because, and I saw this a lot when the comments is well, what about the people that are working right now? What about them? What about the people that, essential activities, essential businesses, and they're putting themselves in harm's way to make either good money depending on where you work or, crappy minimum wage job. Man, you're putting yourself out there. Is there any consolation? Is there any concessions, for those people? Or what about people that just recently got laid off or people that are downsized, meaning that let's say your position doesn't even exist anymore. You were a middle manager and now all of a sudden they just took out your position. So you didn't have you don't have a position to go back to, or what if your company doesn't exist? What if they shut down, file bankruptcy, whatever? So what about, these people? And then also too, we have to consider is, and we saw this with the HEROES Act and the CARES Act, is income limits. So is somebody that's making, greater than $75,000 going back to work, do they qualify for a $450 weekly get back to work bonus on top of their wages? Or is it going to get phased out like we saw with the CARES Act and also soon to be the CARES Act? So yes, this is definitely getting a lot of discussion. This is getting a lot of discussion, but there are still a lot of question marks on how this is going to be structured, what needs to be done here for this to work. Because what they are trying to address, and this is it, and plainly it is that there has to be, we can't just extend unemployment without some sort of stipulations, without some sort of incentive to get people back to work. Now, it just seems almost crazy, like, hey, we're going to give you a bonus just so that you'll go get paid from your job. I mean, that seems crazy, but man, there's like a lot of jobs out there that it would be a lot easier just to sit back and collect unemployment, especially if it's going to be extended for another 6 months or even longer. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Like, that's what's going on. And as you can see, I mean, that's why there's a lot that needs to be discussed, and why it's even more frustrating that Congress is currently on recess. I don't know if vacation was the right word, but in recess. But we are looking at a date. Next Monday's June the 1st. Like, that's the first day back. Does that mean that they're going to jump into it and start looking at everything right now? We hope so. I know what we're going to see is a lot of the senators putting out their press releases and their announcements and their comments and commentary on the HEROES Act, the bill, and what needs to be changed, and like point fingers here and point fingers there. And I mean, this is why I don't get into politics, because like that's the stuff I can't stand. Because like many of you that I see in the comments is like, I want to see action. I want to see action. I want to see us taking steps towards some sort of resolution. Not, we need to do this or you need to do that, or they're not do. I mean, okay, we have enough of that. Like, there's too much of that going on right now. Like, let's come up with a real solution on what we can do to help people out. Like, that's what we need to have. All right, y'all, that's all I got for today. I hope you're having a good Friday. I hope you're having a good weekend. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. I got more updates coming your way. Anyway, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, take care.